Big juice alert. So far, guys, we actually did find support. We held support at $15,900 per Bitcoin on this 4-hour chart, not once going below 15,800. And in fact, we broke back into this rising wedge after spending 12 hours trading right underneath it. And in fact, went all the way back to the top of it. But currently now we are trading within this falling wedge. So is it still possible that Bitcoin could end up heading to $17,000 per Bitcoin? Or in fact, is this still a massive consolidation fake out before a massive dumpage to a very low level? As well, on this 1-hour chart, you can see perfectly how Bitcoin came exactly up to the top of this channel, the very top here, roughly about 16,685 US dollars. And you see right now we're actually getting a slight pullback, guys. But is this going to break out to the upside, or is this destined to face a rejection and get a pullback? Guys, as we've stated many times in the past about bull markets, sometimes you have to throw out some bearishness in a bull market because things get too pumpage oriented. And is that exactly what we're seeing here? We're gonna go back on these charts actually and show you something identical here to as we were breaking out, because there was a fundamental shift in the consolidation and the trajectory of the market as it did near all-time highs, that it completely went parabolic and it broke certain trends that it was obeying for years the moment that it reached certain price levels on that chart. But as well, guys, I would not get your hopes up just yet. As we've stated, there's a few charts showing still, even though we've broken back into this rising wedge and some other patterns are still holding, we have not actually broken bullish out of any of them yet. So it would not make sense just yet to get too excited about further upside momentum, although it does look like there is still a decent chance. Let's do this. Welcome back, mommies, sisters, stepsisters, and grannies. Guys, we've got an absolutely insane episode today as Bitcoin seems to be defying gravity and continues up. However, urgent warning right now at the beginning of the webisode, do not get your hopes up just yet, because even though things look very bullish in the short term, guys, we have to keep in mind that technically nothing substantial has been broken in terms of a pump to the upside just yet. However, the possibility still remains on the table, but we're going to be jumping into these charts and showing you exactly what would need to happen to actually initiate massive pumpage in the rumpage to the actual moon in this webisode, guys. As well, so if you're new, as always, make sure to leave a subscribe below, and if you're interested in winning a ledger, as always, guys, make sure to drop your comment below and make sure to turn on those post notifications so you get absolute alerted when we upload these pump-episodes. And as well, guys, for anybody with experience trading, looking to trade these markets, and looking to support the channel, as always, make sure to head down to the comments or description below and get up to an additional $610 for trading when you deposit specific amounts. All of the instructions are in the comments below. Wow, guys, so we can actually start off this video with something a little exciting here, a news article, and then we'll jump into the TA. So a Citibank analyst seemingly predicted a roughly $320,000 price per Bitcoin in just 1 year's time, okay? So pretty much Christmas time next year. And I'll tell you one thing, if that ends up being true, Santa Claus will not be the only one coming early this time. Guys, so what's actually crazy about this is it'll actually be the lowest increase for Bitcoin's price during one of these bull markets if that did happen. So seemingly as more and more money comes into Bitcoin, as it becomes more and more valued, as the cryptocurrency market cap gets higher and higher, technically, right, it's harder and harder to keep up those percentage gains, right? For example, it's really easy to chew 5 pieces of bubblegum at the same time, but once you get into 10, 15, it gets a lot harder to chew all that bubblegum. And guys, here, while conceding that this figure may seem highly improbable, he points out that this would only be a low to high rally of 102 times, so far the weakest rally in terms of percentage, at a point where the arguments in favor of Bitcoin could well be at their most persuasive ever. So basically, what he's saying here is percentage-wise, it would be the least explosive Bitcoin has ever been in a bull run. So that's one positive in terms of the possibility of that ever actually happening, because we're not really overshooting based on past historical experiences and historical percentage moves. And second, what he's saying here is Bitcoin could be at its most persuasive ever, meaning institutions, huge people in the financial sector and hugely influential people in general are more bullish now than ever before, and there's more and more of those people as well. So basically what that means is Bitcoin is as legitimate as it's ever been, and it looks to continue doing that, and especially because of this crisis we're having in the world with all of this inflation, again, makes Bitcoin more and more attractive, which in my opinion and many people's opinion is exactly why we've seen so many billionaires and institutions get involved in Bitcoin in the year 2020 more so than ever before. I mean, even think back to 2017. JP Morgan was calling it a scam. Now, JP Morgan is involved in Bitcoin, guys. So we see this flip-flop all the time, but more specifically in 2020, it has happened a lot. So basically, with those two factors, the fact that $320,000 per Bitcoin target would be the least percentage gains in terms of bull market that Bitcoin has ever done, and the fact that Bitcoin is more attractive and has a better case than ever before in history, both of those factors basically make it very, very likely that a $300,000 per Bitcoin price in just 1 year's time is more likely than not. Massive, guys. So if we actually jump into these charts, Bitcoin did have a little bit of a retracement over the past 10 minutes when I started this video, and now it's actually heading back to the top here. So if we start here with this rising wedge, something very interesting happened. As yesterday we were falling out of it, and then we spent hours trying to actually get back into it. We fell completely out of it. But as we talked about, this key level of about 15.8 to 15.9 did hold. So as long as that holds, then again, we said we would not be going lower. And that is exactly where Bitcoin found the support. Again, which is exactly that level where Bitcoin was holding in this ascending triangle. So if we draw that on there, you see exactly kind of why that's more important. This horizontal level is exactly where that was. And that's exactly where we held, guys, right here, right? So, I mean, if you can see that here, that's exactly where we held. And basically what happened is we came back up to get into it, and we did get back into it. And you can see we immediately shot back up to the top of this rising wedge. So again, rising wedges typically are reversal patterns and are typically bearish. However, the main thing we need to factor in is this, the entire macro chart of Bitcoin, right? So again, Bitcoin is flipping extremely bullish. Obviously, it's been 3 years. I mean, cycles tend to repeat like this. We had the halving, pretty much 6 months ago. So this does make sense in terms of when Bitcoin is going to get bullish. More importantly, we broke out of a 3-year symmetrical triangle to the upside. So again, so many reasons to get bullish on these macro charts, which have a lot of influence on these smaller charts. So again, I'm not saying, however, though, we are going to break out of this target and head up to, 18,000 US dollars. But it is now more a possibility than it could have been. And as well, target to the downside, if we were to still break bearish out of this, would still be, about 13,500 based on these charts here. Okay, so there's still going to be a substantial drop. And again, there will be a pullback eventually, but the question is, have we overextended ourselves enough to the area where we need a pullback? And it seems so far on these charts that they're telling us no, not yet. Even though we seemingly have this bearish divergence shaping up, which actually, as of the last few hours, it looks as though this RSI has kind of broken this trend to the upside, even though the price is exactly so far finding resistance on this line. So that's something very key to note as well. And this is kind of the decision time. So basically, as I'm recording this video, this is literally the tipping point where we're either going to get a massive breakout one way or the other. And like I said, on this daily chart, you're seeing a bearish sign, right? You're seeing bearish divergence. But this is where things get tricky because we can't just factor in one chart. We're factoring in the hourly, we're doing the 6 and 4 and 1 hour, but even more importantly on these macro charts. And this macro chart looks like it just wants to keep exploding, guys. So we'll see what happens. But for the most part, 16,750 US dollars is a target most people would not have even expected in the year 2020. Just about 2 months ago. Now, what's also really interesting to note here is that there was a time back in the last bull market where we came up to some key levels, pretty much approached the all-time high, and we basically just kept going higher. So the first time that we actually broke all-time highs back here in the previous bear market or bull market, the high in December of 2013 was about 1,100, and we broke that concretely a few years later in February of 2017, and we broke it by a few $100s, but then we had a massive retracement down to the 21-week moving average, which we always talk about, and then that's where things started going absolutely nuts. That's where things literally started going straight up for a while, right? We go from 1,300 down to 900, and then the next stop is 3,000. So that's absolutely insane. We have a pullback, and then we 3x. We go up 300% after that pullback, which is absolutely insane to think about. And then we literally ride the 21-week moving average to 20,000 US dollars. So again, I think we're actually entering a similar situation here where, again, we're going to pull back to this 21-week moving average eventually. But guys, it is looking more and more likely that potentially we could be maybe trying to take out all-time highs first, which is absolutely also nuts to think about, that after all the pumping that we've done, it is still a realistic scenario. Again, it's not guaranteed at all, but it's still a realistic scenario that we actually pump through all-time highs before ever getting that retracement back to the 21-week, let alone the 21-day moving average, which we still have not been down to since the beginning of October 2020, right? So again, very, very bullish stuff. We will know very soon, right? This will be the deciding week, and I think we will know this week if we're going to be breaking all-time highs very shortly here, or if we're going to actually begin that retracement. Okay, again, just very, very key to note, and I personally think it'll be within 48 hours because this bearish divergence is not going to hold up much longer. We're either just going to completely ignore it and kind of abide by more of these higher time frames and just keep pumping, or this bearish divergence will get proven correctly and we're going to get a retracement down to about 14,000, 13,000, 13,500. And guys, also very interesting to note, this chart that we plotted yesterday, this is exactly so far where we're facing that resistance. If we zoom in, we have 2 hourly candles kind of right at the top here. And again, this is the decisive moment. If we can break here, then it is likely we actually shoot up to 17 and potentially 18.5, which is unheard of to think of in November of 2020. Wow, guys, so if you're new to the channel, as always, make sure to subscribe, and as always, make sure to leave your comment below to enter for those ledgers. If anybody's interested in trading and you have experience trading and you want to support the channel, make sure to check out our pinned comment and description below, all the details you will need, up to an additional $610 for trading, limited time only, tons of rewards, guys. All of the requirements are there using code WIN $500.